Okay, so it seems that there's been a little bit of an update with the whole Layna situation. Now, again, this is a pretty sad one because I think Layna is a very great content creator. I think she's very nice and a lot of people love her in the community. But essentially, it seems like she's been getting targeted almost by this account, which again has been kind of harassing other VTubers, going after other people, and essentially just making her look bad using her name. And it is very disappointing to see that it still hasn't ended, because we actually made a video on this about a month ago or so, on this whole situation, and it's still going on to the point where Layna has actually made a public response saying, I absolutely do not endorse or am okay with this person representing me. They are vile scum of the earth, very mean, disgusting, and deserve nothing but to be completely ignored. We've reported this person over months upon months from our entire community, and Twitter won't do anything. Feel free to ignore them forever. So yeah, I mean, that is essentially the kind of advice that Layna is giving. And I think, yeah, that's essentially what you need to do whenever it comes to this situation, is just to ignore them. Now, again, if you guys want to go and just block or mute or whatever this account so it doesn't come up in your feed, because again, it is just pretty pointless. There is the account. There's virus9414, just says Layna Virus there. And essentially, yeah, what they do is they just post a bunch of hateful content, right? And of course they blocked me because you know, everyone called them out on it one time, and yeah, obviously they just block people, which I think is quite funny because again, you know, essentially, you know, you're rage baiting people, but then as soon as someone calls you out on it, oh, apparently you know, we get blocked. So yeah, but essentially all this account does is go into kind of what you call it, other people's you know, quote retweets and other people's stuff, and essentially cause a lot of drama, you know, by just trying to just be horrible to VTubers, right? And obviously this is a clear attempt at trying to, you know, kind of hurt Layna's name, because obviously a lot of virus accounts tend to be very closely connected to a VTuber, whereas this one isn't, right? We've had many, you know, videos about virus accounts, and me personally, I think virus accounts aren't that good, right? I think there are many good ones out there, but I think that it does cause a huge room for someone to include their own personal opinions, kind of include their own personal whatevers, and end up making the VTuber themselves look bad, especially if that VTuber interacts with them a lot. Now, obviously, Layna doesn't, but, you know, there are many other virus accounts out there. We've had, like, the Megalodon situation before, right? Where they started expressing their own personal kind of political opinions. And obviously, that's just something you shouldn't be doing on a virus account, right? It's a fan account at the end of the day. You should be kind of, you know, just being a fan. If you want to post your public opinions, go and do that on a different account that isn't associated with a VTuber that you've interacted with and, you know, maybe even follows you at the time, right? But obviously this one just tends to be a complete troll and someone who is just out there to make her look bad and essentially annoy other VTubers and say the most kind of inflammatory stuff, you know, towards them, which I think is absolutely horrible. And hopefully the account does get taken down at some point, right? Who's saying, I'm so sorry you're still dealing with this, Layna. You know, Alara saying, I'm really sorry you're dealing with this, Layna. Having someone hijack your name and avatar to be cruel is awful and exhausting. You don't deserve any of it. Hope Twitter can get it sorted soon and you get some peace from it. And yeah, as I said, if you guys want to go and just mute this account, report the account, you know, block the account, whatever, just so it doesn't pop up in your feed, that will probably be the best kind of course of action, because the more people that do it, the more that they get ignored, the more that, you know, they will get bored, and the more that they will just kind of move on to something else, because again, it is just kind of one of these pointless things, right? Who does this help? Who does this actually kind of affect? Because at this point, right, the amount of VTubers that they are, you know, publicly harassing and going after using Layna's name, all of these VTubers know that, you know, this isn't associated with her, right? If the kind of plan is to kind of annoy VTubers and get them not to associate with Layna because of this virus account, you've already failed, because again, all of these big VTubers interact with Layna and, you know exactly what is going on with the situation, and definitely will know after this one post has come out, you know, talking about it. So what's the point? You know, what's the point? Everybody knows that you're not associated, so you're not really dragging her name anymore. So at the end of the day, you're just kind of posting for the sake of posting rather than actually having any effect, right? So I think that is something that maybe, you know, could be explored, I guess. Saying Layna directly denounced the Layna Virus account saying the person behind Layna Virus is a vile piece of shit and has become a nuisance in as many spaces as they could by saying the most awful, inhuman garbage they possibly could. It's so bad that Layna should honestly take legal action against them for using their brand. And I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be, you know, against that happening. Now, of course, I don't think Layna will. Maybe in the future if it continues or whatever. But you know, I know how nice she is. So again, I'm sure that she maybe wants to give them a chance to just kind of remove everything, because again, it's just horrible, right? Saying the fact that the person is still posting is embarrassing. I feel bad for Layna, because Virus accounts are some of the nicest people and fans I've seen. And yeah, we have this ass who's using Layna's name and image to say things. And yeah, obviously many Virus accounts out there are great, right? That I've had interactions with many Virus accounts that are great. But obviously it's just like a few, as we talked about with the Megalodon one, and you know, there's some other ones as well, which ended up just going pretty badly. Those few bad kind of interactions obviously spoil it for the rest of them that are nice, right? Saying poor Layna, she's like the nicest person ever. Even when denouncing someone, she doesn't go for low blows and tries to say it wholesome. That Layna Virus dude is an absolute abhorrent piece of shit for trying to make it look bad. And talking about, oh yeah, about Silver's brother is disgusting. And yeah, essentially, what kind of drew a lot of people's attention to this account in the first place, and that's why they ended up blocking me, because I called them disgusting for this. They ended up mocking Silvervale after obviously some horrible things, you know, with her brother that happened, and obviously she came out publicly to talk about it, and then essentially, you know, they were saying like he deserved it and all of this kind of stuff, which is just disgusting, right? And it's just like one of those things where everybody was just like, bro, what the hell? Like, honestly, this is just horrible. And yeah, they ended up blocking people because for some reason they couldn't handle the hate that, you know, came from them purposely rage baiting people. Like, I find it so funny, like how insecure you must be to kind of be, you know, purposely rage baiting people, right? They're doing this to rage bait people and to get people angry and whatever. But as soon as you successfully rage bait someone, whenever you rage bait someone, they're going to reply with something, an angry message, right? But as soon as they reply with an angry message, you block them because you received an angry message. I think it's quite funny, you know? It's quite funny in the sense that you do all of this, but then you're so insecure to the point where you don't like hate comments, so then you just block people. It's just like, but that's your whole thing. That's like, what? It just makes no sense. But again, I guess, you know, they're just a little bit weird. I mean, you know, of course, they're weird for making this account in the first place, but you know, hopefully there can be some kind of conclusion to this soon. People saying, again, with impersonations, I think it's okay if they're doing it's a bit or a parody, or if it's a drama, then impersonator is usually just, however, from the looks of it, I guess they're bad faith. And yeah, they are bad faith. So I had to do that person once. I'm really sorry for the things that the person dragged your name into. I blocked them a few months ago. It's clear that a person like you like that would never represent you. I hope that Twitter finally deals with this user. You know, you got like Bebe Virus saying, I thought bro was gone the whole time, so sorry you had to deal with that. You know, Tricky Virus, or Tricky Vax, sorry, saying blocked them a long time ago, didn't know they were still active. I'm really sorry you had to deal with this. I saw this fool disrespect Silvervale's brother after his death. This account is bad news. Good on you, Layna, for standing up. And yeah, I think that is good on her for just kind of bringing this to everyone's attention, just so they can ignore the account and move forwards, because sometimes people just don't know. And I think it is important to just get the word out there and say like, hey, this person is just going to troll and rage bait and whatever. So it's fine just to ignore them, right? Because if people don't know, then obviously they'll make a big deal out of it towards Layna and whatever. But I think most people do know now, to the point where it's just like, oh, it's that guy. Anyways, moving on. Like, that's essentially the kind of reaction that we want to have. You know, we're like, oh, it's that guy again. Okay, fine, whatever, and just moving on. And that's it. That's all they kind of really want. So yeah, I mean, that's about all there is for this situation. I just wanted to cover that because, again, it sucks that this is happening to Layna. As I said, she's very, very nice. So again, I don't want to see anything like this happen. But yeah, obviously, it is going on at the moment. But that's what I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also go to GameStop, sorry, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.